Damian Bartonic on behalf of CBS 19 and the official host of MMA Monday, the best show, the best MMA show in Beast, Texas. Look, over here, we've had a lot of storms recently. You guys know that, but I got to bring another one, man, because I got a dog with me, Logan Storley, an absolute monster. My friend, hey, I've been following your game for a minute, man. I love the journey you've been on. So I got to ask, man, how's life going for you, man?
Yeah, it's good. Got a great team behind me and really great gym, and so I've been down here for quite a while and continuing to improve and trying to get back to another championship belt.
No, absolutely. And that's something that I wanted to start there, but I was gonna start there. And then I started doing a little bit of homework on you. And about 10 years ago, there was this very viral video that came out about you. And I gotta know, do you still have an obsession with baths? Is that something that you still have this wild obsession with? Because there's a lot of people who watch this, they have kids that, they have a hard time taking a bath. You know what I'm saying? What about you, man?
Oh yeah, yeah, from the University of Minnesota days, the boys. Yeah, I don't know where that. I guess I always take a hot bath, and so the guys always made fun of me in college for it.
So, okay, so it's safe to say it's no longer an obsession.
No, I still do. I do my hot cold bath, but now, yeah, it was just something all the guys always always mess with me about.
Absolutely, man. No, I had to ask, man, because it seemed like it was something that really, it was a very big deal. And something else that's a big deal I want to know is, you have your own trading card. I don't know how familiar you are with this, but you have your own trading card. You have a very rare Panini card. I want to know, man, what's it like, with the little things that you enjoy from this game, and what's it like having your own trading card, bro? 'Cause that's something that we all, I mean, especially if you grew up in the sports, man. I'm sure we all love baseball cards and all sorts of stuff like that. What's that like, man?
Yeah, it's cool. It's one of those things that I think when you're in the middle of it, you don't reflect on it as much because you're worried about a fight, you're worried about this training. But I think when you're done with your career, you maybe look back and say, "Man, those things are pretty cool. I got to be part of really cool things and had an awesome run. A great career, and so I think it's one of those things when you're in the moment, it's a little harder to kind of unless you take a little time out and kind of reflect on it. Um, and so I feel like I've done a better job of that of appreciating this the journey of what I've accomplished and you know what's left and but yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You spoke earlier too about your journey, your gym a little bit, people you train with, and you train with some dogs, man. You train with some straight up animals. You train with Gilbert Dorino, you train with over there at Kill Kill. There's a ton of guys that you're out there working with that are just world class. I'm a big fan of that gym and big fan of a lot of fighters that come out of that gym. What's that like, man? What's that been like training alongside guys that are among the elite, and then you have yourself who's also among the elite and who has beaten the elite. What's that like?
Yeah, I think it's why we've had so much success in our gym, from Robbie, Chandler, Luke, three guys that I was really close with. Rockhold, and then you had Kamaru had his run, Gilbert had his run, Shavkat's in there, Ian was here for a while, Vicente Luque when he was on his run, and it is still fighting. Gregory Rodriguez, all these guys, power bar, that are ranked at 155, 170, 185, that are all kind of training now. DeRitter's and in our gym, and it's just one of those things where iron sharpens iron. We all help each other out with little positional things, and oh, this is what I feel here. This is you're doing this really well. Work on this, and so I think it's something that's really helped our gym and all the guys develop and continue to be the best in the world.
For sure, and you guys definitely have a roster that stacks up against some of the absolute best, man. I mean, we mentioned some, you mentioned some, but I also want to know this. When you look into your career, you look at kind of your style of fighting. Everyone says, "Oh, he's a wrestler. Oh, he's a wrestler." But in reality, you have a little bit of juice in your hands. I like what I see. You got a little bit of pop in the punch and everything like that. Has it been difficult for you though, as a wrestler with that background, to kind of put the punches together throughout your career? Has it been something where the striking is kind of where you felt it at some point where it's like, man, I still got a ways to go with this. My wrestling might be where it's at. My striking still has a way to go. Have you had to deal with that kind of philosophical tension, or has it been a pretty seamless transition?
No, I think it was one of those things where, put it, just be honest about everything. I started wrestling when I was 5 years old, and it continued to evolve. By the time I got into MMA, I was 22. That's a lot of years of perfecting a craft. So I know that I'm not going to catch it in striking, right? I don't have the time to um, catch up all those years and hours and hours and hours, and over 500, probably 500, 600, 700 competitive wrestling matches.
Yeah.
So I know where I'm great at. I know where I'm better than everyone else at, and so I'm gonna dominate where I can dominate, and I'm gonna put my wrestling skills out there because I don't think anybody can match them. And so, would I like to stand up more sometimes? Yeah, sure, but I gotta do what I'm best at, and whatever gets me that victory. And so for me, it's been getting to my positions, wearing on these guys. Besides maybe the Gracie fight, right? That was 25 minutes all stand up because we had to change the game plan because we knew how slick he was, and we got a unanimous decision. And I think we did a really good job of beating him up on the feet. But then you go back to other fights, and okay, let's go back to what I'm great at, and it's putting everything together, punches into wrestling, wrestling into punches. And so I think it's something that I'm continuing to evolve in, but I'm not going to go away from what I'm the best at.
No, absolutely. But there's been times where, like you mentioned, you've had to change that game plan, and I've also seen a lot of fights too, where where your resume. Let's just talk about that real quick. You have a win over a Joaquin Buckley, over a Michael Venom Page, two guys who are tippy top of the sport. You look at who you fought. Guys who would say, "Oh, they have great striking. Oh, they have great wrestling. Oh, they're well rounded," and you come out on top in those fights. When you look at your resume, though, you look at the people you fought. You mentioned you're ready to be a champion once again. Uh, how much confidence do you have right now at this stage of your career after defeating so many really really good fighters, and even the fights that you may have come up short in? Man, you're fighting the tippy top guys every single time out there.
Yeah, I think, and that's another thing about Killcliff, is I get to compete against. I got to compete with Rob. Robbie Lawler is my
Mhm.
main training, my main coach now. But I got to help Rob with when he was Robbie Lawler, ranked number 2 in the world. When he was coming off that knee surgery, um, and so then Kamaru, Gilbert, um, Bilal's been in the gym, here and there. RDR's new in the gym. Jason Jackson, teammate of mine. Delano Taylor made it to PFL when he knocked out Rory. Rory was in the gym.
Yeah.
Me and Chandler was a roommate of mine. Rockhold. I lived with Rockhold for a while when he was fighting Yoel for the interim belt. I know where I'm at, right? I've got to compete against the best guys in the world, guys who have multiple championship belts, between that crew, between one championship, Bellator, PFL, the UFC. Um, and I think that's what gives me a lot of I get confidence. Is I know where I'm at, and I know how good I am, and I know that I can compete with the best in the world, and beat them.
No, for sure. You definitely have. Now I got a few more for you, then I'll get out of your hair, my friend. I want to know this. You've risen gold. You've raised the gold up. You've had the belt before. You won in Bellator. I know PFL. We're itching for that PFL belt. Uh, Man, at this stage of your career, what would it mean to raise the gold once again? Is that something you dream about at night? Is that something that maybe when you're doing your running and you're thinking about winning the belt? Maybe a little bit of tears are start to come out of the eyes because you just envision these moments. What would what would winning the belt mean at this stage?
Yeah, it's I guess my 10th year into my career. So I've got to have a really healthy, successful career, and get to fight the best guys in the world, and got to win a belt. And but this is just, you keep building on it, right? And I'm really proud of what I've accomplished and what I've done. And but I think it's kind of a appreciation to all those people that have helped me, right? That's why you want to do it, is not only for myself, but for the people that have put in so much time and effort and been with me along the journey. And so for me, I think it's something that, I think about, every day is you want to go out there and you want to finish this tournament in the right way, right? And put another one up there, and then you go from there. You get to take a little second and look back of what you've accomplished and what you've done. But yeah, for right now, it's the semifinals, right? That's what 2 weeks away. Go out there, put out another dominant performance, and then I'll worry about that final fight for this tournament.
Absolutely, and I can't wait for that contest. I believe it's June 12th is the date. We're excited. We're excited here at CBS 19, man. I'm ready to see you back in action. My last one for you, man. We know it's a big time fight coming up, and we know obviously uh, the hardest part or to getting to the pinnacle of where you want to be at is kind of in the period you're at right now, before the belt, right? Because you're in this weird spot. Mentally, it can be tough. Physically, it can be tough. But it seems like you're really, really focused and locked in. When you look at where you're at right now, we're in the semifinals. We're this close to the belt. How are you feeling, man? Where's the happiness? Where's the mind at? Just tell me where you're at ahead of this big time bout.
Yeah, I think we did a good job of working with a lot of really good people. Not just in my MMA team, but just around me that um, I think it was the goal for this year was to enjoy it, right? To have a lot of gratitude to be back there in this tournament and to fight and enjoy every moment of it. I think last year I maybe was a little focused on the money and what it was. All right, we got to do 4 fights. This is what we need. This is what we're going to do. And I think this year we took a little different approach and enjoy the ride, right? Enjoy the journey, not the final destination, right? You enjoy it while you're part of it, and you're gonna look back when the career's over and really miss these days,
Yeah,
And I think with Robbie and all these guys that are retired now, I think they would give anything to go back in there one more time, right?
yeah,
And so I think it's something that I've learned is to really be grateful for the hard times, the days you're doing 2 a days, you don't feel good, you're cutting weight, the fight week, things like that. But when they're over, it's over. And so I think this tournament and this year, I've done a really good job of really appreciating it and being super grateful to be around your best friends and to go compete still and be at the peak, um, be at my pinnacle of competing, because when it's over, it's over, and so yeah, I'm super excited, and when I yeah, I'm excited for it.
absolutely, man. Hey, the feeling's mutual, big dog. I can't wait to see you out there. I can't wait for that next month, or it'll be June when this drops on Monday. So this month it's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait. I appreciate you for hopping on a quick call with me, man, and just taking the time out. Big fan over here at CBS 19. Hey, and when you win the belt, maybe you got some gloves for me, man. Maybe you got a little
Yes,
pair of gloves
for
you can
sure.
toss my way. But with that said, my friend, thank you so much. If there's anything you'd like to let the fans, the viewers know, feel free, man. The floor is yours.
All good.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you, my brother. You have a good
Thanks.
one, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.